after launching the X-Pulse, it seems Hero doesn't plan to shut the throttle on its 200cc offerings, which is why they have now added one more model to the portfolio. It's called the Xtreme 200S, and no prizes for guessing, this is a fully faired version of the Xtreme 200R. Now that also means most of the fundamentals are identical. It gets the same 200cc engine, same chassis, same suspension, and even most of the cycle parts are identical to the naked sibling. However, it gets a couple of new features and we'll come to that later on. But right now we are at the BIC and we are going to ride it and find out just how much different is it from the naked sibling. So speaking of the design, which is its main highlight, of course it's a fully faired motorcycle, so it looks bigger than the Xtreme 200R. But it gets a couple of new features. For example, it has a full LED headlamp, and there is also an all-digital instrument cluster that comes with Bluetooth connectivity so that you can pair your smartphone with the bike, and it also has navigation. But that aside, the engine, the brakes, the tires, everything is identical to the Xtreme 200R. Overall, I think Hero's design thing has done a decent job, because this bike, to my eye, it looks quite proportionate and it's not an oddball design like the old ZMR. The engine, chassis and suspension geometry are all identical to the Xtreme 200R. The 200cc air-cooled motor churns out 18.2 bhp and 17.1 Nm of torque in a smooth and effortless manner. It feels quite brisk and eager till 7000 rpm but runs out of steam post that, and the handlebar gets quite buzzy with vibrations at higher RPMs. So, performance-wise, there's hardly any difference between this and the naked version. However, out on the open road, expect the 200S to have a better top speed of around 120 to 125 kmph on the speedo because of its fairing. The gearbox is a 5-speed unit and has a light touch action. Braking duties are carried out by disc brakes on both wheels, and single-channel ABS is fitted as standard. The brakes aren't the sharpest and the front lever has a wooden feel, but they shed speed confidently. As for its handling, it's more or less unchanged, which is good news. Despite a heavier front end, the 200S has a quick and agile steering, and like the 200R, the front end feels very lively. Around corners, it's quite confident and stable, and there's no guesswork involved. It's a very predictable handling machine. So on the whole, I think Hero has done a decent job with this bike, that is turning the Xtreme 200R into the S version, the fully faired version. Things that I really like about this bike is its sweet handling, plus the engine performance is also decent. Of course, it's not the most powerful or most exciting unit, but this bike will keep you entertained. And then there comes this styling, the main USP of this bike. It definitely looks big, it definitely looks imposing, and I think a lot of young buyers, especially college students, would prefer this bike. Plus, the icing on the cake here is its pricing. Hero has managed to price it just under $1 lakh. It costs 98,500, which I think for this bike is a really good pricing.